She'll be joining.
Thank you all so much for joining today. And sorry for the change in schedule. We had to do this because we have another session on IBM DNA at 7:30. So we'll hopefully try to wind up by 7:15. I'll start with the prayers. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Deenatarinam Paramananda Madhavam Krishna Chaitanyam Ishwaram Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Presthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Nitinamane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvisesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Kujantam Rama Rameti Madhuram Madhuraksharam Aruhya Kavitashakam Vande Valmiki Kokilam Valmikir Munisimhasya Kavitavanacharinaha Shrinvan Ramakathanadam Konayate Param Gatim Vedavedye Pare Pumse Jate Dhasharatatmaje Veda Prachetasat Asit Sakshat Ramayanatmana Anjananandanam Veeram Janaki Shokanashanam Kapisham Akshahantaram Vande Lanka Bhayankaram Manojavam Marutatulya Vegam Jitendriyam Bhaktimatam Varishtam Vatatmajam Manarayodamukyam Sriramadhutam Shirasa Namami Anjaneya Madhipatanalanam Kanjanadri Kamaniya Vikraham Parijata Tarumula Vasinam Bhavayami Bhavamananandanam Yatra Yatra Raghunatha Kirtanam Tatra Tatra Kritam Astakhanjalim Bhashpavari Paripurna Lochanam Maruthim Namata Rakshasantakam Jayatrashrata Santrasa Dvantva Vidvam Sanodhayaha Prabhavan Sitaya Devya Paramavyoma Bhaskaraha Shri Rama Rameti Rame Rame Manorame Sahasranam Tattulyam Shri Ramanam. So, I'm very happy to be presenting Kishkinda Kanda. And we have already started. We did one session on the next, on Kishkinda Kand. And we have already seen some introduction to this section, but I will quickly revise for the benefit of people who did not attend the previous session. So we saw that the essence of Balakanda, in the essence, the Supreme Lord was established as Lord Sri Rama along with Sita. They both were established as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are the Supreme Truth. That is what was established in the Balakand. In the Ayodhya Kanda, we see that the Lord has auspicious qualities. In the Balakanda, it was defined that the Lord has many auspicious qualities. But in the Ayodhya Kanda, what happened? The Lord exhibited these auspicious qualities. And then in the Aranya Kanda, we saw how the Lord is Sharanagata Rakshaka or Sharanagata Vatsala, simply because he gives shelter to those who have surrendered, especially the sages. The sages in Dandakaranya, they surrendered to the Lord, and the Lord told them, I have in fact come to the forest, not because my stepmother cursed me. I came to the forest just to give you all shelter. So, very beautiful instances of Sharanagati you see in Aranyakand. And then now we are seeing the Kishkinda Kand. And the Kishkinda Kand has a very important message That is, the Lord is attained only through a guru. Here in this section, we see that Sugriva wanted to attain the association of the Lord, and it was made possible only through the guru, who is none other than Hanuman himself. So we'll quickly review what we have seen in 5 minutes, and then we'll go on to today's section. The Kishkinda Kand begins with an introduction to Pampa Sarovar. So Lord Ramachandra had already entered the area of Pampa in the previous Kanda itself, in the Aranya Kanda itself. Now he walks through the Pampa Sarovar and this area of Kishkinda, and he's relishing the beauty of that place. However, as he is relishing the beauty of this very nice place, he is also feeling severe pangs of separation from Sita Devi. Everything around him, though appeared very pleasant, was actually burning him. So the wind was like as if it was burning him, it was scorching him. Why? Because he was overwhelmed with grief. He was worried about Sita. And whenever he saw the birds and animals, everything was continuously reminding him of Sita. He was worried where she was and how she would be surviving in his absence. So, like this, they moved forward and they reached the area near the Rishyamukha Parvat. And on seeing both Ram and Lakshman advancing like this, there was one Vanara who was a very great soul who was jumping from one tree to the other. And he was so frightened that he started to hide in the ashram of Mathanga Rishi that was nearby. And this Vanara was none other than Sugriva. This Sugriva was blankly staring in all directions, and he was jumping from one branch to the other because he had this dreadfulness as to who these two people are. So he called out to his ministers and he said, "Oh, there are two people wearing jute cloth and they are coming here. They appear to be carrying weapons. Though they appear in the garb of some ascetics, still they are carrying weapons like Kshatriyas. So these don't seem to be normal people. It appears to be messengers that are sent by Vali." So Sugriva, who was very perplexed, like this when he voiced out his thoughts, at that time his dear minister, who's none other than our hero, who is Hanuman, told him, "Sambramahat tyajam." That means give up all your sambrama. That is your perplexities, take it off. So when we think about Hanuman, we can be assured of victory, we can be assured of protection. All our distress is removed in the presence of Hanuman. So that's the grand introduction of Hanuman. And Hanuman tells Sugriva, "Hey, don't worry, we are here to take care of you." But then Sugriva, he said in fear that, "Look at these two people, I'm sure Vali has sent them towards me." But he tells Hanuman at this point, "You are my minister, so you jump, you take off, and you go and find out what their true intentions are. If their true intentions is that they are genuinely good people and they want to make friendship, bring them here. Otherwise, if they are going to be dangerous people, ensure that they are driven out." So anyway, Hanuman takes his flight from Rishyamukha Parvat and he meets the two brothers. And he goes in the garb of a bhikshu. And the commentators, some of them say it is a brahmachari, while others say no, bhikshu is a sannyasi. It can be either way. So anyway, he goes in the garb of a bhikshu and he wants to talk to Lord Ram and Lakshman. So he goes and he starts talking to them and he asks them, "Oh, you have beautiful lotus-like eyes and you at the same time you have strong arms, you're carrying weapons. It appears that the sun and moon have come at the same time. So who are you?" He tries to inquire from Ram and Lakshman. Initially, he was speaking in Dvivachan, that is, he was talking about both of them. Then suddenly he started speaking in Bahuvachan about the arms of the Lord. And then our commentators say, actually, the pure devotee was able to see the true identity of the Lord. The pure devotee could see that this Ram is non-different than the four-armed Vishnu or Narayan. So that was the actual vision that he got, and that's the reason he suddenly started speaking in Bahuvachan. Then Ram, who was stunned looking at how Hanuman was talking, because Hanuman's grammar and his vocabulary and the way he spoke was so relishable, Ramachandra was stunned and he did not speak a word. And at that time, Hanuman, he blurted out. All this while he was acting like a bhikshu, but then he introduced himself. How did he introduce himself? He said, "Oh, I'm a Vanara. My name is Hanuman, and I am the minister of Sugriva." So, though he had great plans of hiding his identity, but still in front of the Paramatma, automatically one's identity and truth is revealed. So, that is what we say, we see. And then he falls silent because he's waiting for the two brothers to talk something. Then Lord Ramachandra, he did not respond directly to Hanuman. He looked at Saumitri, who's Lakshman, and he started to glorify Hanuman in various ways. He said, even the humble knower of Rig Veda or the great presenter of Yajur Veda or the scholar of the Sama Veda cannot speak like this. This Hanuman, everything is perfect in him. His speech, his tone, grammar, everything is so nice. So he glorifies Hanuman in various ways. And then he says, if a king has a minister like Hanuman, then what can he not accomplish? In this sentence itself, Ram had indicated that Hanuman would be the person I would keep full trust on. And in fact, I will give the ring to Hanuman, and Hanuman will be the one who's going to see Sita. So there itself, he indicates the future. Then Hanuman, he introduces himself. How did he introduce himself? He said, as far as Ram is concerned, I am his brother. But as far as I am concerned, I am his humble servant. And my name is Lakshman. And Lakshman gives the full story of Sita's abduction and how they came to the forest and how they were told by this demon by the name Kanda that they should make friendship with Sugriva. And Hanuman was very happy. So he was thinking, okay, both of their desires is going to be fulfilled. Sugriva also wants friendship with Ram. Ram also wants friendship with Hanuman, with Sugriv. So what did Hanuman do? He put both of them on his shoulders and he climbed the Rishyamukha Parvat. So here itself, he starts putting Ram and Lakshman on his shoulders. And when he reached in front of Hanuman, in front of Sugriva, what he did was he took back his bhikshu vesh. So when he put Ram and Lakshman on his shoulders, he cast away his bhikshu vesh and he took on the form of a regular Vanara because he had already revealed his true identity to Ram and Lakshman. But then when he landed on Rishyamukh Parvat in front of Sugriv, at that time, again, he took the form of a bhikshu because he didn't want to disappoint Sugriva. So anyway, he gives the grand introduction to Ram and Lakshman, and then Sugriva, who's very happy, now takes vows of friendship. So they go around the fire and they decide to help each other. So, Sugriva actually at this point in time, he asks Ram if Ram would be able to help him, and Ram shows him his arrows, and he tells him that I will definitely, be of great help to you. And he also, there's a discussion about how Sita dropped the jewels when she was being kidnapped. So Sugriva says that I know about the lady that you are talking of. It must be this lady who was carried away by the demon Ravan. And then he goes to the cave and he brings out the jewels and he shows the jewels. And at this time, when Ramachandra opens that little cloth tied jewels, his eyes are filled with tears and his voice is choked up and he's not able to speak. So he asks Lakshman, can you identify the jewels? I'm not even able to open my eyes. But then Lakshman says, what do I know about Mother Sita's jewels? I only know about her anklets. I've only had the darshan of her lotus feet, and surely these are the anklets of Mother Sita. So like the Sugriv, he consoles Ram. He tells Ram, don't lose heart, and I am there with you, and we both, because of our friendship, we can definitely help each other. And then Sugriva, he wants to tell his story, right? We saw that. He begins his story and he says that actually, look at my situation. I'm in constant fear because of my brother who's Vali. And I'm staying in this mountain called as Rishyamukha. So he starts crying. Sugriva, he's thinking about his situation, and he tells about how his wife Ruma was taken away by Vali, and he suddenly begins to cry. And he asks Ram, will you be able to help me? And Ram again assures, yes, I am there for you. I will definitely be able to help you. And then at this point, Ramachandra says, see, I cannot do much unless you tell me your full story. So I want to hear the entire story. What caused the enmity between you and your brother? So tell me everything in full so that I can be of some help. So we stop there. Okay. So now I took 10 minutes anyway, but now we will continue to see the detailed story of Sugriva, what happened to him. So, Sugriva begins his narration. Sugriva says, me and my brother, we were very, very close. My brother Vali was very dear to my father because he was the older one and he had very good administrative qualities. All the ministers were immensely glorifying him and they made him the king of all the monkeys after my father's death. So while he was ruling this great kingdom, of my fathers and my forefathers, I was like a servant, and I would always stand next to him with my palms folded. I was always there at his service. One day there was a fierce demon by the name Mayavi. This Mayavi was the elder brother of another demon by the name Dundubi, and both of them were sons of a demon by the name Mayadanava. Now it is interesting that Mayadanava's daughter is Mandodari. So you see, there's a lot of connection to all these characters in the story. So Mayadanava had two sons, Mayavi and Dundubi. And once that Mayavi, he came to the doors of Kishkinda at the night, and there was a long lasting enmity between Mayavi and Vali because they were fighting over some woman. So now this Mayavi, he came to the palace gates and he challenged Vali to come out and fight with him. But Vali, when he heard the shouts of Mayavi, he went out of the palace gates and he started chasing this Mayavi. This Mayavi got very scared looking at the power of Vali and he started running. He ran so much so that he went into the cave that was there in the um, here, the cave, the way it is mentioned is actually, it says that it is a hole in the earth. Okay. But technically, in other places, that is in the same Valmiki Ramayana, in some verses, it is mentioned as a cave in the mountain, while in some places, it is called as a cavity in the ground. So, what we understand from this is that it is actually a cave, but sometimes when you enter caves, it goes deep inside, even height wise, that is, in there are many hills, and in these hills there are cavities or caves, and these caves can actually take you down into depths. Okay, so you can keep crawling and going inside and inside, and you can go to deep depths. Like even in the US, you have these different underwater, under cave waterfalls, under cave rivers, and all that, right? So basically, it is at a great depth, but you enter through a mountain, through an elevated hillock, okay, and then it goes deep inside. So that kind of a cave, basically. So he entered into this cave, and Vali was chasing him, and he also entered into that hole. And he looked back at me, Sugriva was telling. So he says he looked back at me and he told him, you stay here and you stay alert outside. I will enter this hole, and only on destroying this enemy Mayavi, I will come out. Till then, you stand here guarding this hole. So he says that and he enters that particular cave. And Sugriva says, when my brother told me like that I should not enter the hole and I should just stand there, I stood there in submission to my brother. My brother went inside, and over 1 year of entering that cave, he could not come out. He just went inside, and time passed by, and 1 year had gone. And I was thinking that I had completely lost my brother because time was going and he was not coming out. After more than a year, suddenly there was a lot of blood and foam that was gushing out of that hole where he had entered. When I saw this blood and this foam, I got very worried And suddenly I could hear sounds of screaming. And this sounds of screaming was not of that of my brother. It was the sounds of that demon, of that Mayavi. So, but the screeches of my brother, I could not hear. I could not hear my brother speaking. So at that time, I could understand in my mind that my brother is actually dead because my brother's voice was not heard. Only the demon's voice was heard. And I was scared because the demon was inside the cave. I was scared. I was seeing blood and all that. So I got very scared. I had concluded that my brother was killed by the demon, and I closed the cavity of the opening because he didn't want the demon to come out and attack him. So he closes the cavity of the mountain with another boulder, and he went out and he told everyone, it appears that my brother is dead. So he goes and he offers water oblations, that is for the deceased. So he performs all the rites, and then he was very, very sad. But however, all the ministers, they persuaded Sugriva to take up the throne. So yeah, Sugriva tells Ram, because I was summoned by all the ministers and he told me that I should take over the throne, I was enthroned, and I started ruling the kingdom judiciously, always keeping my brother Vali in my mind. But however, it so happened that one day Vali returned. And when he returned, he saw me with the crown. He saw me on the throne, and his eyes were red with anger. He immediately came and took all the ministers and he arrested them and he started speaking very, very rudely to me. Sugriva says, "Oh Raghava, although I was capable of, giving a counter to him, I felt that he was my brother. And had assumed all this while that he was dead, and that is the reason I had taken the throne. Now that when I saw my brother come face to face, though he was despising me, though he was scolding me so much, I did not want to attack him in any way because I didn't want to take the sin of defying brotherhood, he says, because he understands that his brother has come and his brother is the rightful heir to the throne. So, what Sugriva did, he said, I bowed down in front of my brother and I took out my crown and I put it at his feet and I started begging for forgiveness because I did it unknowingly. But then Vali, he did not show any pity towards me. So here are some pictures of the cave, the Vali Gufa, and you can actually walk through this cave. You can't get into the depths of the cave, but you can walk on the surface of the cave, and it is almost quarter kilometer actually from one end to the other. That Vali Gufa. So you will enter at one end and you'll come out from the other end. So it's a very long cave. At the same time, if you move probably the rocks, you can even get into the depths of the earth through that cave, which of course, we didn't have any vision of that. But in ancient days, it was probably there. And there is a small hole with which you can enter and another small hole with which you can exit. And there are a lot of ashrams and a lot of, following is there. And people have identified this to be the exact location. And you will see temples and things like that in this area. So, yeah, this is the Vali Gufa. So then Sugriva, he continues to tell that I went and fell at the feet of my brother, but my brother did not accept my surrender to him. Now, note this point, okay, because this is one of the Sharanagatis. We are reading Sharanagati Shastra, right? It's not just story. We also have to derive some lessons, especially spiritual lessons, okay, about Sharanagati and other things we have to learn from Valmiki Ramayana. So here, Sugriva, he fell at the feet of Vali and he begged for forgiveness and he surrendered to his brother, but still this Vali was not at all happy with Sugriva and he did not want to give protection to him. Sugriva told him in various ways that, oh, my dear brother, thank God you came back alive. You luckily eliminated that enemy and you returned safely. And I'm so sorry for whatever happened, but you alone are our protector. And he gives the royal umbrella and the throne and he keeps it at the feet of Vali and he decides to give up the throne. But then, in spite of explaining in various ways to Vali that he was very sad since Vali went inside the cave and he did not come for 1 year, and he mistook the blood and the screams to be of that of Vali, and he assumed Vali was dead. He tried to explain all this, but still, um, Vali was very upset with Sugriva, and he said that you have been waiting, to take over the throne, and that's the reason purposely you closed the whole of the cave and you came here. So Vali did not accept. Here is the verse where he says that I surrender to you. I beg you. He says, याचे त्वां शिरसा राजन् मया बद्धो अयं मम जले अंजलि भलात् अस्मिन् समागम्य मां त्रिभिः पुरवासिभिः राजभावे नियुतो अहं शून्यदेश जिगीषया. He said, I beg you with my head bowed, with a prayerfold palm, that is Anjali Mudra. And the ministers, the city dwellers have collectively and forcibly nominated me to kingship only to keep the kingless kingdom under order. That is the only reason I took up the throne, not out of desire. So he was trying to be as polite as possible, but then Vali threatened him and he was cursing him again and again. And then he heard abusive words and he dismissed Sugriva's pleas, and he started telling Sugriva, you very well knew that this gigantic demon, Mayavi, had invited me for a duel that night. And when I went out of the palace, you followed me. And then I entered the cavity of the earth, knowing that I am inside purposely, you closed the cave. So he says, by my power, I was able to kill that demon. And when I came out at the entrance, I could not come out of the cavity because you had shut it. So with great difficulty, I had to punch down. I had to punch down that entire rock and break it into pieces and come out. It took me more than a year to go and identify where the demon had gone, because he had gone deep inside the cavity. And then I had to bring him out and then fight him out in the cave. And after killing him, I could not see an exit because you had closed it. So with great difficulty, I have pounded that hilltop and I've come here and I see this terrible sight that you have taken up the kingdom. So there is no forgiveness for you. So like this, Sugriva was banished. So then Sugriva tells Ram like this, my situation was so bad, I was kicked out of the kingdom along with my ministers, and I was never ever allowed to enter Kishkinda after that. So, and not only that, my wife was also taken by Vali, and I had to take shelter of some place. I didn't know where Vali didn't have his influence, but there was one place where Vali could not enter, and I went to that particular mountain called as Rishyamukha Parvat. So, like this, he tells us entire story, and he tells Ramachandra, "O Rama, you are the fear remover of all the three worlds. Okay, you're the only one who can remove fear for all the three worlds. So you give me fearlessness from Vali and give me protection." So, like this, when Rama was told like this by Sugriv, hearing this, Ram said, don't worry, I will make sure that I kill this Vali with my arrows and I will bring back your wife Roma. And he says, by my experience, I can really see you're genuinely feeling bad. I can see how you are deluged in a sea of sadness. So don't worry, I will make you get over that sea of sadness, and you will get whatever you have lost. So, like this, Ram gave assurance, and Ram makes Sugriv again happy. And then Sugriv begins to say another sentence. So before that, we will look at the two Sharanagatis. These are actually the eighth and the ninth surrender in Valmiki Ramayana. So there are two surrenders here, and both the surrenders were by Sugriv himself. One was Sugriva, he surrendered to Vali. How did he surrender to Vali? He surrendered to Vali and he said, give me Abhayam. And I prostrate in front of you. Give me abhayam. I prostrate in front of me. I'm so sorry for whatever happened. I fall at your feet, he said. I beg you with my bowed head and with my prayerful palm fold. The ministers and the city dwellers collectively and forcibly nominate me. Yache tvam shirasa rajan maya bhaddo ayam anjali, he said. He did the Anjali Mudra. He fell at the feet and he begged for protection. But then Vali did not give protection. This Sharanagati was a failure. But at the same time, the same Sugriva, he fell at the feet of Ram and he said, "You are the only one who is the Lord of the three worlds. Please affirm fearlessness unto me." So he asks Lord Ram, "Vali no me mahabhaga bhaya arthasya abhayam kuru." Give me fearlessness. Give me fearlessness from Vali. So when he asked like this, immediately Ramachandra said, "I will take care of you and I will do the task of killing Vali and bringing back your wife." So this surrender was a success because eventually we see that Ramachandra, he shoots an arrow and Vali is killed and the wife of Sugriva is returned and everything is settled. Okay. Now, there is about this failure Sharanagati, that is Sugriva surrendering to Vali and Vali not giving him shelter. About that, there is a very beautiful comment. It says that according to Sharanagati Dharma, that is the Dharma of surrenders, that itself is a Dharma. If one cannot give protection to a person who has surrendered, it is not considered to be right. Okay, even in wars, we see that when the opposing party comes and surrenders to the king, immediately that person is set free. Okay, you cannot kill that person. So you cannot kill a person who has surrendered. You cannot kill a person that is not alert. You cannot kill a person that is sleeping. There are so many rules, right? So this is also mentioned in Mahabharat Shanti Parva that you cannot kill a person who has surrendered. See, Vali did not even give a chance um, to Sugriv, and that is the reason why when Lord Ram shot an arrow at Vali, which we will figure out in a few minutes, at that time Ramachandra doesn't come in front of Vali and kill him. Why? Because if Ram comes in front of Vali face to face, then if Vali gets a chance to surrender, Ramchandra will forgive him. Correct? So Vali was not even given a chance to surrender, and Lord Ramachandra did not come in front of him face to face when he was killed. Though Vali accepted the greatness of Rama at the time of his death, which we will see, Sugriva doubted Rama's capability. Sugriva, we see how earlier he doubts Ram's capability. He says about those 7 sala trees, he says, "Oh, Vali used to rip these trees. Can you shoot an arrow and rip the trees apart?" He tests Ram, Sugriv. He tests Ram. He talks about the Dundubi's body. He says, "Oh Ram, my brother Vali, he could, tear apart Dundubi like anything. He would kick him and he would go falling somewhere." And Ramachandra kicks Dundubi and Dundubi goes 100 yojanas away. But still Sugriv is not satisfied. He says, "Oh, what is there? This is, after all, a very frail body full of bones. So there is no greatness in doing this." So he tests him. Though Vali accepted the greatness as soon as he was killed, while Sugriv doubted Ram's capability, Sugriv was still protected because of his surrender. The surrender, once you say, "Oh Krishna, I'm yours," "Oh Ramchandra, I'm yours," it's Krishna's, it's his problem now. He will take full care. And we should have faith in that. Rakshishyati iti vishvasa, right? We say anukulyasya sankalpa, pratikulyasya vachanam, goptritve varanam tata, rakshishyati iti vishvasa. You should have full faith that he will protect. That is when the surrender is actually complete. So though it appeared that Vali kind of accepted Ram while Sugriv was testing, still Sugriv was given protection. Anyway, I think I had to stop for a second to talk about the surrenders, but the rest of the story will continue. Okay. So now, where did we stop in the story? We saw how when Ramachandra said that he will surely kill Vali and bring back his wife after hearing the story of Sugriv. At that time, Sugriv, he was extremely happy, and he tells Ram that I'm sure you will burn down, Bali whenever you're angry. It appears that with your anger, you can burn down everything. And these arrows of yours are very sharp and they are always successful. But then let me tell you something about Vali. Okay, so now he starts telling the power of his enemy. So he says, this Vali is no ordinary person. You're telling that you are very powerful, you have sharp arrows, and you can burn down everything, and all that is great. But then you should also know the greatness of Vali. So he says, before dawn of the sun, Vali, he goes from the Western Ocean to the Eastern, and from there he goes to the Southern Ocean, and then from there he goes to the Northern Ocean just for offering water oblations to the sun. That means when he's doing Sandhya Vandana, and he has to offer water oblations. Usually people will go to the river and they will offer water oblations. But just to do one Sandhya Vandana, this Vali, he jumps from one ocean to the other. He's not any ordinary monkey. He's a great Vanara who's jumping from one ocean to the other. What kind of ocean? He can go to the north, from the northern to the southern, to the southern to the western and the eastern. So like that kind of capability, just offering arghya, this Vali can do. And he says he can jump from great mountains. He can punch down mountains and make them like play balls. He can pound them into pieces and he can play around with mountains. This is the strength of Vali. And in fact, Sugriv had just told the story of Mayavi, right? One of the sons of Mayadanava who had come to challenge Sugriv, who had come to challenge Vali. But then now Sugriv tells the story of the other brother by the name Dundubi. This Dundubi, he was in the form of a buffalo. And he was really, really huge, like Mount Kailash, and he had the strength of 1,000 elephants. But Dundubi, one day, he went to the ocean. He went to Varuna Dev and he asked Varuna Dev for a fight. The story is very, very similar to one demon that we read in Bhagavatam. Anyone knows which demon? He goes to Varuna Dev and he asks for a fight.
Yaksh.
Yeah, correct. So the same story. Dundabi also goes to Varanadev and he asks ocean personified to fight, and the same answer. The ocean personified Varunadev says, "Oh, I cannot give you a good fight, but I can tell you who will give you a good fight." So in Hiranyak's story, finally he goes and he meets Vishnu, and then there is a fight with Varahadev, right? But here he sends him to Bali. So he sends him to Bali. uh, oh, uh, mm, yeah. Actually, sorry, here I think, sorry, he first sends him to Himavan, who is the Himalayas. He sends him to Himavan, who is the Lord of the Himalayas. And then he sends him to Vali. I think that's how he comes to Vali. Okay, so anyway, Dundubi, he comes and he's ready to fight with Vali. But then Vali, who's the leader of Kishkinda, he took on this Dundubi, who was a very ferocious demon, and he fought with him. And it was quite a terrible fight. And Vali actually kills this demon very easily. Vali took that Dundubi by his horns and he whirls him to the ground. So very easily he was able to kill this Dundubi. He hurled him to the ground and Dundubi was crashed on the ground and blood gushed out of his 2 ears and he died. So like this is the power of Vali. And in fact, the dead body of the Dundubi was lying on the mountain. And this mountain, when the body was actually hurled, when the dead body of this Dundubi was hurled, it so happened some drops of blood was fallen near the ashram of that sage Matanga. So that Matanga Rishi, he got very upset. Matanga Rishi got very, very upset. And he was thinking, who is this person who has polluted this area with drops of blood of a buffalo? What is this? What is happening? So he came out of the hermitage and he was extremely angry. And he saw that a huge demon, buffalo demon, was fallen lifeless. And owing to his mystic power, he cursed the monkey, he cursed the Vanara who caused the death of this Dundubi because the Dundubi's blood had polluted that entire area. So he said, whoever did this terrible task of hurling the body of this demon and making so much blood fall here, he is not permitted to come to this area. If at all he comes to this area, then he will fall dead immediately. Now, initially in the story, when Sugriva had told that I went to so many places in fear of Vali, but then I decided to live in Rishyamukha Parvat, where Vali cannot come. This is the place, this Rishyamukha Parvat, Matanga Hill, all of this are close by, okay? They are all one region. So this is the region where Vali cannot enter. So that is why Vali cannot come here, and Sugriva had taken shelter of this place. Okay, so Sugriva tells Ram, because of the curse of sage Matanga, me and some of my dependent ministers, we all live here, and this is the only place where Vali will not come, thanks to Matanga Rishi. So now, the sage had already cursed Vali, right? The news spread very fast, and Vali got to know that he got this curse, that he cannot enter that particular area. So what Vali did was, later he meets the sage in a different place and he requests the sage to withdraw his curse. But then the sage doesn't budge. Okay. The sage says, no way. You have created such a big sin. So there is no way that you can come to this place, the region of Rishyamukha. And the bones of this Dundubi was on that mountaintop where he had hurled it. And it was really, really huge. So now Sugriva, he was ready to give Ramachandra a challenge. Okay. Not only that, he now talks about the 7 enormous shala trees that were actually shaken up by Vali. So first he tells the case of Dundubi. Then he also shows 7 shala trees, and he says these sala trees were very easily shaken up by Vali, and he's capable of rendering each one of them lifeless. Like you see the tree in the picture, each one of them can become completely lifeless. All the leaves will fall off and it will become like this. He's capable of doing this. That is the vigor that Vali has. So like this, Sugriva, he tells Ramachandra about the greatness of Vali, and he tells, I'm telling you all this greatness of Vali so that you can understand that your enemy that you're trying to eliminate in a war is not any ordinary person. So when Sugriva spoke that way to Ramachandra, Lakshman smiled and he asked Sugriv, so you're telling so much about Vali, and it appears that you don't have faith, right, in what Ram can do. So, on performing what act do you think Vali's elimination is possible by Ram? So he asked this question. So then Sugriva, he tells Lakshman, see, this Vali I told you, right? He used to agitate these trees. So if Ram can just shoot an arrow and just tear apart one tree out of the 7 with his arrow, then I can conclude that Ram is capable of killing Vali. So so at that time, he also says one more thing. Lakshmana, if Ram can lift and kick the skeleton of this dead buffalo with his foot, then I can agree that Ram is capable of killing this demon, this Vali. And what is the limit? He says, if Ram can kick this to a distance of 200 bow lengths. 200 bow lengths is not really much. One bow length is about 6 feet. So 200 bolins, you can imagine it's not really much. If we can just kick the dead body, then I will be convinced. Now, Ramachandra, he was ready for the task. He's a great Kshatriya, right? So he was ready for a task. And he tells, Vali tells Ramachandra, I take shelter under you. You have now become my friend. So just prove to me that you can take on Vali. And he also says, see, I'm not examining you. He says all that. He says, I'm not examining you. I'm not intimidating you. I am not demeaning you. Don't think this is just some cover talking to you. But definitely we have to figure out, whether it will be a proper match. We have to understand the strength and weaknesses of our enemy. So we also have to see what you can do. So then Ram says to Sugriva, it's okay, I will show you and I will increase your confidence. Okay, so he comforts Sugriva and he says, please don't worry, I can do this very easily. And Ramachandra, he very sportively, he flipped the skeleton of this Dundubi with his big toe. He just kicked it. Okay, and just by kicking it, it went to a 10 yojana distance. So 10 yojana, which is like 80 miles. Okay. So it not just a few bolens, it went 80 miles away. So looking at this, Sugriva was very surprised. He said, wow, Ramchandra can do so much. But then Sugriva still isn't convinced because Sugriva says, at the time Vali was fighting with Dundubi, Dundubi's body was filled with flesh and bones and he was very, very healthy. Now, this is just a bag of bones without any flesh, without any fat. So you kicked it for several miles may not be a great task as compared to Vali, who could actually swing this Dundubi with full of fat and flesh and kill him. So he again reminds Ramachandra, he says, if you just rip apart that one tree, one of the Sala trees, then I will accept that you are completely capable of facing Vali. So now Ramachandra, he strings his bow and he says, okay, very good. I will show you what I can do. And he takes out a golden arrow and he shoots it at the tree. Now, the arrow, it pierced through not just one tree, but it went through all the seven sala trees and it even went down. It went through the sala trees. It ripped apart all these trees. It went into the earth. It traveled through all the lower planetary systems and then swiftly it came back to the bow of Lord Ram. So like this, when Sugriva saw this wonderful task, he was completely stunned. He could not, even understand. By the time he could, with a split second, within a split second, the arrow went, it tore down all the seven trees, it went into the earth, and then all the way, Atala, Vitala, Sutara, Rasatala, Talatala, Mahatala, Patala, and then it comes back, and then it comes into the bow of Lord Ramachandra. So Sugriv was completely astonished and he prostrates in front of Lord Ramachandra in full surrender. He's very, very happy and he says, you are indeed the best. You're best among men and you're capable of eliminating not just this Vali, you're also capable of eliminating Indra. You're so capable. So he says, come on, let's go now. Let's go immediately. Now I found the person who can fight with Vali. So let's go immediately from here to Kishkinda and let's call out Vali and have a fight with him. So like this, they started walking towards Kishkinda and Sugriva, he tightens his belt and he goes near the cave of Vali, the palatial cave, and he calls out Vali angrily and he says, come, my brother, we'll have a duel now. I'm ready to fight with you. So hearing his brother shouting like that, Vali got very angry. Oh, this Sugriv, he dares to come here. He was hiding in Rishyamukha Parvat. How did he come here? And he's asking me for a duel. So he got very angry and he came out from that cave to see the Sugriva. So before we go ahead with the duel of Sugriva and Vali, I also wanted to remind you, later Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when he was during his South India Yatra, he comes to Kishkinda. he comes to Rishyamukha Parvat and he embraced each one of these seven same tala trees or shala trees, and immediately these trees went back to Godhead. Okay, so this is a beautiful painting of these trees, how Sri Ramachandra, he goes and he embraces them. So now there was a tumultuous fight that occurred between Sugriv and Vali. And it appeared like as if planet Mercury and Mars in the sky were fighting with each other. So fists with fists and arms with arms, they started punching each other. And it appeared like the great two Ashwin demigods who look like each other, who are very similar in appearance, they both were fighting. And at this time, Raghava was getting ready to shoot an arrow as they were fighting because that was the plan. So Griva said, okay, let me go and call him out for a duel and then you shoot him down. But then this Ramchandra, he couldn't differentiate between Sugriva or Bali. So he never made up his mind to release an arrow. And it was a big confusion for Ram. Now, Sugriv, he was trying so desperately to spot Ramachandra and wait for Ramachandra to shoot an arrow. But as he was trying, he was fighting a duel with his brother, and his eyes were searching for Ram, but Ram was not taking any action. So he didn't know what to do, and somehow he escaped and he started running towards Mount Rishyamukha because he knew very well that only if he goes to Rishyamukha Parvat, that is where he will get protection. That's the only place where Vali cannot kill him. Vali cannot do anything to him. So he fled to Rishyamukha Parvat so that Vali could not follow him. So what happened in this case? Though they went into a duel, still Ramachandra did not shoot any arrow. Okay. Now, Sugriv, when he saw Ram and Lakshman standing there without shooting an arrow and everyone met at Rishyamukha Parvat, Sugriv felt very bad. His eyes were all turned down to earth, meaning he was looking down, and with a lot of pity, he could not even see Ramchandra eye to eye because he was thinking, Ram promised me, but he didn't keep up his promise. So he tells Ram, you showed your capability. You kicked that buffalo's bones and you ripped apart the sala trees and you showed your dexterity. You even encouraged me to call Vali for a fight. And what did you do? I got beaten up by my enemy. That is all was done by you. So he tells Ramachandra, you should have told me earlier that you will not be able to shoot an arrow at Vali. Then I wouldn't have gone and asked Vali to come out at all. Why would I go to Kishkinda? I would have stayed back in Rishyamukha Parvat. Why did you do this to me? So at that time, Ram explains to Sugriva. See, Sugriva, by your ornamentation, that is the ornaments you both are wearing, by the cloth that you're wearing, your attire, your physicality, your looks, your movements, body language, everything, you both look like twins. You both look exactly the same. Your voice is the same. Your bodily glow is the same. In every single way, your bravery, your speech, everything, you both are so similar. I couldn't even make out any difference between the two of you. So I was so scared to release an arrow because I didn't want to release an arrow that would come and pierce you. I'm so protective of you and your friendship is so important to me. How can I shoot an arrow towards you? Even by mistake, I didn't want to shoot an arrow. So you have to have an identification for yourself. So let's see, unless you're identified properly, you cannot go and engage in a duel with Vali. He says that. And then he calls a Lakshman. And he says, Lakshman, pick up that Gajapushpi creeper. Okay, there was a creeper. We remember earlier also there was a very nice instance where there was a beautiful creeper with flowers, and that particular creeper was given as a seat for Ram by Sugriv, right? So keep that instance in mind and let's see what he told Lakshman. Ramachandra told Lakshman, Lakshman, you pick up that Gajapushpika creeper and make a beautiful garland for Sugriva and garland Sugriva with it. So Lakshman immediately he picked up the flowers, those Gajapushpika flowers. He created a garland and then he garlanded Sugriva. How did Sugriva accept the garland? He folded his palms, he bowed down in front of Lakshman, and he accepted the garland. Now, Ram, why did he not shoot the arrow? Was it so difficult for Ram to identify Sugriva and, differentiate Vali and Sugriva? What do you think? Was it very difficult for Ram, for a person like Ram to differentiate?
No, Mataji. That's because he wanted he wanted Sugriva to surrender to the Guru Tattva, who is Lakshman. Only
Correct.
then you get to the lotus feet of the Lord.
Exactly. The same concept we have been studying past 2 days because of the appearance of Lord Nityananda. Yes, you have to first surrender to Guru. So it's not that Ram couldn't differentiate. In fact, anybody can differentiate. The commentators say in a very joking way, the one who's getting beaten up is obviously Sugriva. The one who's beating him is Vali. What is there to differentiate between both of them? 2 seconds, you'll know who's Vali and who's Sugriva. Even any dumb onlooker will know who's Sugriva and who's Vali. Why Ram cannot know? The reason is because, first and foremost thing, Sugriv did not respect Lakshman. Right? When he gave a seat of honor to Ramachandra, he forgot to give the same seat of honor to Lakshman. But Hanuman did that. Hanuman picked a creeper and he asked as a seat, and he asked Lakshman to sit there. So that is the first reason. He wanted to be blessed by the Guru Tattva before Ram can actually give him abhayam. That is one thing. Second thing is, you'd never doubt God. In one sense, Sugriv was, though he was telling, I'm not asking this because of doubt and all that, still there was a hesitation. He didn't have full faith, right? So without God, one cannot be successful. So it was to prove to Vali, to Sugriv, that don't think by your endeavor alone you will be successful. Go and try to fight with Vali without my help. Let's see what happens. So like that, don't try to test God. God can test us, but we don't test God. Okay, that is one thing. And second is, Sugriva did not respect Lakshman. Even for the Lord to give his shelter, first the Guru Tattva should be placed. First Lakshman should be placed. Okay, so he did this quick trick, and now Sugriva bowed in front of Lakshman, and wearing that beautiful flowery creeper adorning his neck, he was looking like a black rain cloud against the backdrop of a rich orange color sunset. This is how he was looking, and he went forward towards Kishkinda. Now, they were marching towards Kishkinda, and Ramachandra had his bow all ready because he had to take on a very important task. And they proceeded from Rishyamukha to the capital place of Kishkinda. And this Sugriva, beautiful necked. Sugriva means beautiful neck. Okay, Griva's neck. Sugriva means one who's very, very beautiful with a beautiful neck. Now was stern necked, meaning he was putting his neck up, his face looking up, because now he was very confident that Lord Ramachandra is with him. And along with the Sugriva, who was stern-necked at this point in time, also the very brave Hanuman, Nala, Neela, all of them, Tara. Tara means not the female Tara, this is male Tara, one of the male Vanaras. All of them, they started walking towards the capital. So while they were walking, they passed through different little hillocks and lakes and mountains and so on. And there they saw a clump of trees that was surrounded by plantain trees. And this entire area looked very, very resplendent. And it didn't look ordinary. It had a brilliance, it had a shine. So Ram asks Sugriva about it. What is this? It appears to be a hermitage. There is a clump of trees, and around those trees, there are banana plantations. What place is this? It's just shining so resplendently. And then Sugriva explains this is the hermitage of the 7 sages called as Saptajana. And they always do austerities with their heads below and their legs upward in Shirashasana. That is, you all know this asana, right? You put the head down and the legs up. So like that, they do austerities, and they do austerities in water and so on. And they have their diet only on air, meaning they don't eat any food. and that too only once in 7 days. So, like that, they do austerities, and for 700 years, they practiced austerity like that, and they went to the upper planetary systems in their own bodies. So, this is the hermitage of these people. And even Indra, gods and demons, demigods, demons, nobody can enter this place. So it was a very nice place for them to see. And in fact, birds and other animals also, they do not enter that particular area. So he gives a brief introduction about the place. There are not many commentaries, so I didn't have anything much to say about why this description is given there. It's just a holy place, and they went through that place. I mean, they went not into that place, but when they passed by, they could see that place. Okay, no big commentaries as to why this description has come here, but it is there. That's all. Then they marched and they went towards the place where Vali was there. So now, of course, Ram and Lakshman, they all, of course, since it's a holy place, they offer their salutations, they offer their obeisances, they fold their palms at this place where the sages had lived, and they go to this place where Vali was there. And even when they were reaching that place, the actual kingdom of Kishkinda, even then Ram was continuously assuring Sugriva that Vali is soon going to be eliminated and Sugriva should not be scared. Okay, so assuring him, he tells Sugriva to call him for a challenge. So Sugriva again goes and he starts screaming out to Vali, and he tells, come again, give me a duel now. Now I will fight with you. So he calls out to Vali again. At this time, when Vali, he heard the call of Sugriva, he got very angry. He got very, very angry. He was thinking, this guy just came, I fought with him, and he ran away. And what is his problem? Why is he coming again? So he just couldn't tolerate. He was so angry and so irritated. He was thumping his feet, and he was ready to, just go and kill this brother of his. But then when he was rushing out like that, his wife Tara, she's a very important personality in the Ramayana, she comes and she stops her husband. And she stops her husband and she just goes and hugs him so that he doesn't get angry anymore, because he was so angry, he was about to go and shatter that entire mountain into pieces. So she goes and she hugs him and she tells him to calm down. She tells that just leave off this anger. She tells her husband, there is no need for you to get so angry. Okay, and you don't have to fight with this Sugriva at this point in time. And Sugriva is unnecessarily coming and inviting you for a combat at this point in time, but don't get tempted. Don't go out at all. The reason she says this is because she says, I have a doubt in my mind. This unnecessary call for a duel, that too the second time, it doesn't appear that Sugriv is coming of his own accord. Rather, I have a doubt that he is accompanied by somebody else who's actually his well-wisher. He has a support, and that is the reason so confidently he is coming back. She says Sugriva is very intelligent. He knows what kind of friendships to make, and he has made friendship with somebody who is supporting him, and the person who's supporting him seems to be very, very strong, because there is so much confidence in Sugriva's voice. And Sugriva being intelligent, he will only take the support of a strong person, and he will not take the support without testing that person. I'm sure the Sugriva has tested out the capability of this person. Not just that, our son Angada, he has given me some information. The information is that this Sugriva has made friendship with a person by the name Rama. And this Rama is actually a great Kshatriya who belongs to the Ikshvaku dynasty. And I've also heard that this Ram gives shelter to anyone who goes and surrenders unto him. He's like a tree who is ready to give shelter to a person who comes near the tree. Nivasa vriksha sadhunam apannam paragatihi. So she says, Arthanam sashrayah chaiva yashas Yashasaha cha eka bhajanam. So she says, I've heard that this Ramachandra is like a tree. A tree is standing there and it is ready to give shelter to anybody and everybody who comes in the shelter of that tree. So this Ramachandra is like the tree and he has promised shelter to your brother Sugriva. Right, so she says that, and I've heard so much about his glories. I've heard about his father Dasharath, and not only that, he follows the words of his father. And I've also heard that he's an ocean of all dharma, all good qualities reside in him. Our son Angada has gathered all the information about him, that he's coming all the way from Ayodhya, and he's accompanied by his brother Lakshmana. And Sugriva has already made a friendship with both of them. So he has a good support. This Ramachandra is endowed with all kinds of knowledge. He knows mundane knowledge, he knows spiritual knowledge. He's like Mount Himalayas. He is full of good merits. He cannot be conquered by conflicts, and the dharma that he follows is extremely high. So your enmity with Ramachandra is inappropriate. She tells, and she tells, just leave Sugriva. I will give you a good idea. Just make Sugriva the prince regent. That means you crown him to be the next prince. Accept him. It's okay. Don't have so much enmity towards him. Now that he has won the favor of Ram, if you go and fight with him, you will get into trouble. Rather, the best solution at this point in time is to just say, Sugriv, okay, I accept you. Come here and make him the prince. You have a friendship now with Sugriva, and that alone is appropriate for you. Otherwise, I don't see a good future for you. And she tells, Sugriva is your younger brother. Anyway, it is the duty of the elder brother to give shelter to the younger brother. So it's okay, call him here. Why should he stay in Rishyamukha Parvat? So let him be taken by you. So, and she says, if at all you end up fighting with Sugriv, you will also have a confrontation with this prince who has come all the way from Koshaladesh. He's come all the way from Ayodhya. And I've heard that his dynamism and his valor equals that of Indra. So if you go and fight with Sugriv, you'll end up fighting even with this person, and there is no assurance for your life. So she says all this. Tara says it in various ways, but then, though Tara was very wise and she was advising her husband not to take on this particular fight, Bali was very adamant. His death was actually nearing. He did not give ear to Tara's words, and he was determined to fight with Sugriv. Bali said, he is my younger brother, Tara. Oh, pretty face, Tara. You're giving me good advice. I understand. You're my well wisher. But then he's my younger brother. And moreover, who is he? He's now my enemy. Oh, I can easily fight him out. So don't worry about it. He's coming and screaming on top of his voice like this. How can I sit inside and give him protection? Rather, I should show my valor. I must go and fight with him. And he says, you're telling so much about Ramachandra, that he is very virtuous. He's an abode of dharma. He's got so many good qualities. He's a very diligent man. So if he's so diligent, that man will not commit any sin. I will just go fight with my brother. That's all. What has that man got to do with this? And you're telling already he's very dharmic. So there is no worry for me. So he says that. And he says, now I will go. I will teach the Sugriva lesson. I will drive out his arrogance. And ultimately, I'll make him give up his life. And then I will come back to you, Tara. I will kill him and come back to you. So you please don't worry. So Tara, then again, she tried to tell him in various ways, but her husband wouldn't listen. And he said, don't worry, Tara, I'm going to be back. So now, like a dutiful wife, she does the ceremony called as Swatyayana. That is, before the husband goes for a war, a wife circumambulates the husband, places tilaka on his forehead, and if necessary gives a weapon and so on, right? They sprinkle grain and they do all these, the Kshatriya women basically, they do all these procedures. They chant Vedic hymns and they pray for the protection of their husband, and then they send off their husband without crying, with a happy face. That way the husband goes and he fights a war. So Tara at this point in time, she follows the protocol and she does everything and she sends her husband. Now, Vali, he was ready to face Sugriva, and Sugriva was also ready to face Vali for the second time. So they tightened their belts, and again, Vali and Sugriva, they took each other fist on fist, arm on arm, and they started fighting. And of course, Vali is always stronger, and with his fisted hands, he punched Sugriva, and Sugriv started bleeding profusely. And Sugriv, he takes a sala tree that is there nearby, he uproots it and he tries to trash it on the limbs of Vali. But then Vali, he just thwacked that sala tree, he just punched it and just went tossing and fell into the water. So, like this, Vali had so much strength, and Vali was getting more and more powerful, and Sugriva was getting less and less powerful. And as always, Sugriva was desperately searching and he was thinking, not again. Now this Ram is not doing anything still. He was thinking of his terrible condition. So he was looking desperately to see if Ram is going to help him or not. But still, the fight was going on, and they were fist with fist, knees with knees, feet with feet. They were wrestling each other, and this fight looked like the fight between the demon Vritrasura and Indra, and both of them were soaked in blood. And now Sugriv was almost ready to give up, and he thought Ram is not going to do anything. And that is when Lord Ramachandra very diligently, he scanned through his quiver of arrows and he was trying to find the perfect arrow that can kill Vali. And then he picked one particular serpentine arrow. Ramachandra, he drew out his bowstring and he released the arrow, and the blast of that bowstring, when you release an arrow, there's a blast of the bowstring that made all the birds and animals frightened and they all fled. And like a flash of lightning, that arrow went all the way and it struck the chest of Vali. And lo, Vali, completely depleted of energy with that arrow striking his heart, he slowly fell into the ground with tears blocking his throat, and he was moaning piteously in great pain. That great son of Indra, Vali, was dampened by blood. He was covered with blood. He was covered with sweat. He looked like an Ashoka tree with lot of red flowers falling on the ground when it is felled. So like this, Vali, he falls onto the earth, and still his life force did not depart. He still looked brilliant. He had this beautiful golden necklace, Kanchanamala, with a pendant. And that brave monkey, Vali, brave Vanara, Vali, he looked like a black cloud that is smeared with golden color of sunset. He was looking extremely beautiful. And on seeing Vali fallen like that, at the time of death also, he was looking so resplendent, Vali. So, of course, he was attacked by the arrow of Lord Ramachandra. Anyway, so on seeing Vali fallen like that, the two brothers, Ram and Lakshman, with great honor and respect, they neared Vali. Now, Vali begins to question Ram. This section is very technical. It's an interesting section. It's a very, very technical section. We'll go through it nicely. Of course, I will do hopefully I'll do some justice to this section. It's a very key section in the Valmiki Ramayana when Vali begins to question Rama and Rama gives answers, befitting answers. So the whole talk of Vali and Ram is Ninda Stuti, meaning Vali, he is questioning Ram and he is finding fault with Ram. He is blaming Ram, but actually that blaming also has glorification. So there is a commentator by the name Maheshwara Tirtha of the Madhva Sampradaya. who finds beautiful meanings and glorification for every sentence that Vali speaks in accusation of Ram. Just like in Srimad Bhagavatam, we have Shishupal, for example. He's offending Krishna 100 times, and every sentence is Ninda, right? But still, there is a glorification hidden in that. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Sridhara Swami are going back and forth, saying how this is actually a glorification of the Lord. So it's very much like that, but we will just see the Ninda part of it. So this is how he begins. Or what we'll do, because we have only 10 minutes, what we could probably do is we could just see the questions that Vali asks Ram, and we'll allow Ram to answer them next week. Meanwhile, you can digest the questions, okay? So let's see the questions. Vali is terribly shocked at this point in time. An arrow has hit his chest and he sees Ram and Lakshman approaching. He's able to understand that the arrow was shot by Lord Ramachandra. So now he asks, Tvam naradipate putra pratita priyadarshana paranmukhavadham kritva ko atra prapta tvaya guna. Yadaham yuddha samrabdha tvatkrite nidhanam gata. So he says, you are Naradipa Putra with pleasing looks, partitaha priyadarshanaha. So you are the son of a great king. You are the lord of this earth. Okay, you are ruling this earth. You're a renowned prince. You're extremely beautiful to look at. But this kind of death that I am getting is so low because you killed me when I was in a conflict with someone else. And how did you kill me? Paranmukha. You were not face to face with me. Rather, from a different direction, when I was not alert, when I was fighting with someone else, from back, from a different angle, when I was facing away from you, when I was Paranmukha, at that time you shot the arrow and you killed me. So you seem very deceiving. You're a prince. You're beautiful to look at. But then it appears that all this is, it's not befitting you at all. Your action is not befitting you. How will a prince behave? A prince will behave in a proper dharmic way. But what did you do? When I was looking elsewhere and when my focus was with the person I'm fighting with, at that time you shot an arrow towards me. That's the first thing he says. Then he says, कुलीनः सत्त्वसम्पन्न तेजस्वी चरितव्रतः रामः करुणावेदी च प्रज्ञां च हितरेतत सानुक्रोशो महोत्साह समयज्ञो दृढव्रत इति एतत् सर्वभूतानि कथयन्ति यशो भुवि. The whole world is chanting your glories. What are they telling? They are telling, oh, this Ram is high born. They are telling he's very gifted with all sorts of valor and mightiness. He's resplendent. He follows vows very perfectly. He's very merciful. Karunavedi. He's so merciful. He's always thinking of the welfare of people. He's sympathetic. He's so enthusiastic. He's committed. He's a performer of only good deeds. He knows how to act according to time, place, circumstance. And he is a benefactor of all living beings. Like this, everybody is speaking about you. You're well known throughout the world. So, like this, he says, but again, it's actually a kind of a glorification, hidden glorification only, right? When he says such beautiful things about Ramachandra, he's also glorifying Ramachandra. But anyway, you should, for the story's sake, let's see it as accusation. So he's saying the whole world is talking like this about you, but it doesn't seem that you have these qualities. That's what he's trying to say. Dhamashama dharmo dhriti satyam parakrama parthivanam gunarajan dandacha apakarisho. To be able to control one's senses, to have forgiveness, to have resoluteness, truthfulness, all these are the qualities of a king. Even punishing wrongdoers, all these are the good qualities of a king. You have all these kingly characteristics, Rama, and I was thinking that you come from a great dynasty and you have all these kingly characteristics, and I thought that you will behave properly. Not only that, Tara also. She also confirmed these beautiful qualities of you, and she told me about you. But I told her it will be, you are glorifying Ram in so many ways, saying that he's very dharmic, he's virtuous, he's this and that. So I told Tara that Ram will not hurt me in any way. I have a combat only with Sugriva. Why will Ram come and interfere and hurt me? I was speaking like that to her. But however, you are a straw covered well. You appear pleasing, but then your qualities, your actual true nature is not pleasing at all. What is a straw covered well? A straw covered well is an illusion. Outside it looks like straw, but then once you set your foot there, you're going to go inside the well. You are like ash covered fire. What is ash covered fire? It outside it just appears to be ash and harmless. But then if you put your hand or if you go there, you'll see there is fire burning inside. As a king, you should be punishing wrongdoers. But I am non guilty. What sin have I committed? Did I come and commit a sin in your country or in your city? Did I taunt you in any way? I am, after all, a Vanara that is subsisting on fruits and tubers, and I just move in the forest by myself. I never came and tortured you. I never combated with you. I never fought with you face to face. And that too when I was fighting with somebody else. Why would you kill me? Will anyone born in a Kshatriya family, that too learned in the Vedas, have such qualities? You should be knowing what is right and wrong. But how can you behave in such a ruthless manner? You are born in the Raghavas dynasty. You are renowned as dharmic, but actually you're very immoral. For what purpose are you running around having this name that you're a very dharmic person? It doesn't appear like that at all. We as animals, we live in the forests. You are city dwellers. What connection do you and me have? We are living by eating fruits and tubers, and you are enjoying feasts. You're eating rice, dal, chawal, chapati, all that, and you're enjoying life. What, even our diet is not the same, our lifestyle is not the same, our place of residence is not the same. You're living in sophisticated cities, and we are in forests. You are a man, and you're a human being, and I am an ordinary Vanara. But you have such a terrible, concocted way of dealing with us. You have acted like an animal. You have animalistically killed me. What kind of attitude is this? This is not princely. This is not even human. So he's questioning. He's saying, see, we are animals. We have a different lifestyle and you have a different lifestyle. You're supposed to be a human and you're not behaving like a human. Rather, you're behaving worse than other animals. Even animals won't attack like that. He says that. And animals are also more polished than what you did. Pretty much that's what he's saying. But again, the acharyas are all telling, he's saying all this, but then really, is he like an animal? Is Bali himself like an animal? No, he's also a very sophisticated person because his wife was chanting Vedic hymns and sending him off to fight, and he does Sandhya Vandan and all that. So, of course, he calls himself as an innocent animal, but he's not. Okay, so and then he continues. Let's continue his arguments. He says, generally, there is a fight with certain on certain things, like for example, for the sake of territory, for the sake of gold, for the sake of silver. So, like that, there will be a fight only when there is some benefit. Okay, what is that? That is your. What is it that you're going to get out of me? What benefit are you seeking out of this fight? I am living in this forest and I just have fruits and tubers for me. There is nothing else that I own. So, what is it that I can give you, and why are you fighting with me for this? You're not a righteous king. Your self interests are primary, and you are just doing things ruthlessly without thinking. just to please yourself. You just have some whims and fancies. You're just shooting arrows, randomly killing people because you're just getting some happiness out of it. That is what you are doing. You don't have any proper values. What made you kill me? What benefit are you even getting? Okay, there is nothing that I can give you from my land. I cannot give you gold. I cannot give you silver. You thought that by killing me, you will get something from me. What is it that I give you? I can't give you anything. I'm a Vanara. My skin is unwearable. Maybe if you kill some deer, you will get some deer skin and you can use it for meditation. Maybe some leather is used for making coats. But my skin, I'm a monkey. With my skin, what cloth can you make? And for some animals are killed for their hair, because their hair is like, for example, yak tails, right? The hair is good for making fans. Elephant tail has some hair, and some people take out the hair to make this ring, out of elephant hair, because it's auspicious. So like that, people use different animals for different things. Like, for example, some people some people take the elephant's teeth, that is the danta, that is the ivory, to make nice, beautiful ornaments. So like that, other animals have some use. There is some use in killing other animals. But from me, what are you going to get? You can't wear my skin. People forbid my hair. Nobody wants monkey hair. Nobody wants monkey bones. Nobody eats even monkey meat. Okay, you may say you're a Kshatriya and you killed me, you hunted me down for meat, but who eats animal meat? I mean, who eats monkey meat? Nobody eats that. And in fact, he says, oh Raghava, 5 kinds of fine-nailed animals. Pancha pancha nakha bhakshya. They are fine-nailed animals that can be, whose meat can be eaten. What are they? There is one kind of a wild rodent. It's actually, I think it's a porcupine. There is a wild boar. There is a kind of a wild lizard, and also the turtle. These are the five-nailed animals that are edible, okay, that can be eaten by human beings. But my meat is not even to be eaten by anybody. Okay, so how is it that I am killed? And then he says, actually, Tara, she told me such beautiful words, but I disagreed with her. I was under delusion. Now I'm under the control of time. You are the great soul son of Dasharatha. He is a great soul and you are his son. But then you're not great in any way. You're full of evil and you are disposed to false modesty. That is your nature. So he says, you're killing me unjustly. How is it that you will attain higher planets? You will only go to hell. He says, I don't see any sort of valor. You're calling yourself a Kshatriya. Kshatriya should be valorous. He should come and fight face to face. But then I don't see any valor in you. You don't know how to respect your enemies. If you had come and fought with me face to face, then you would have been killed by me and you would have seen the abode of Yamaraj. But rather, I am killed, and that too, I was killed when I was not visible to you face to face. You are like a snake that comes and bites a person who's asleep. So, like this Vali, he was lamenting. And actually, the acharyas are telling actually he's lamenting because he lost an opportunity to see the Lord face to face. That is what he's lamenting about. But anyway, he says, the purpose that I have been killed for is that you wanted to do good for Sugriva. But rather, instead of coming and killing me like this, you could have come and asked me for help. I would have helped you. I would have gone and brought Maithili to you. I would have killed that evil-minded Ravana in a fight, and I would have brought Maithili to you. So why did you have to unnecessarily shoot an arrow and kill me? Rather, you could have come and asked me for help. I would have helped you very nicely. And in fact, Sugriva, he should not be getting this kingdom by killing me. That is not even proper. Okay. It is actually improper because unrighteously you have killed me and you're giving the kingdom to Sugriva. That is not even correct. So, like this, Mali, he questions Ram in various ways and he's waiting to see if Ram has answers for all these questions. Why he was killed inappropriately. Let me summarize the 7 key questions asked by Vali and we will stop. The first question Vali asks is, did I come and do a mistake in your land or your country? Why did you kill me? Question number 1. Question number 2, he asks, do you and me have an earlier enmity? Do we have a long lasting enmity? Did I take away your land or your wife or your money? Why did you kill me? The next, do we even have an introduction to each other? You are somebody, I am somebody. Do you have to kill me during this very first introduction? He's asking. You are a Vanara, you are a human, you have no connection with me. I am a Vanara living in the forest. What introduction do we have with each other? How would somebody without any introduction just go and kill somebody randomly during the first introduction? Next question he asks is, why didn't you kill me face to face? Why did you kill me being unseen? That too when I was not alert. That too when I was paranmukha, when I was fighting with someone else. He says, he says, there are no connection between you and me. You eat rice while I eat fruits and tubers. There's no connection between us. Without any connection, why should you kill me? He says, will the skin or hair or nail of the Vanaras be used for anything? Is my flesh edible? Why hunt me? Tiger skin is used as a carpet. Then you have these certain body parts have medicinal values. The tiger body parts has medicinal values. Elephant's tusks are used for decorative articles. Camel's bones are made into bangles. Rhinoceros horse is used as a decorative article. The Himalayan yak hair is used for chamaras. Deer skin is used as seat and so on. But the skin, bones, hair of a monkey, as a matter of fact, cannot be used for anything. It's not even for a game, for a hunting game are we useful. Actually, nobody goes hunting monkeys, right? You go and hunt other animals. So he says, for this great sun, finally, he says, you're not going to achieve higher planets. Rather, you're going to go to a lower planet. You're going to achieve sin. You're going to go to hell. Why does he say that? Because a killer of a king, Brahmanas, and cow go to hell. As of now, Vali is considering himself to be the king of the Vanaras. So he's telling, do you even know that you have killed me? I am the king of the Vanaras, and by killing me, you have incurred sin. So, and he says, of course, I could have easily brought back Maithili for you in one day. Why did you befriend Sugriva and end up killing me? So that's the final statement he makes. So these are the 7 questions. And we will see answers for this in our next session. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you so much. It was very wonderful session. I wish the time would have been more and you would have completed the answers. Now we have to hang up for these answers for the another 1 week.
Yeah, hope so. Hope so. I'm able to convey properly.
Just have one thing. So you said those 7 sala trees were like they were uprooted by Rama,
They were torn
but
apart.
still alive.
Yeah, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu only came and embraced them later.
Okay, so looks like 2 yugas have been passed. Means 2 days of Brahma. Like one is like this Ramayana is not this Treta Yuga, right? Still those
Yeah.
are there.
See, when you talk about trees, right, the exact tree may be there, or the tree may again, you see plants around you, like rose plants also, they go off and they come back, they go off and they come back. They go up till the root, they die, again they emerge from there. So you can consider it something like that, logically. Okay. Like even these huge, I don't know, these flowering plants, they have these big flowers, right? Till the root they die in winter, and then from the root they come up fully in summer. So consider it something like that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Mataji. Yes, Prahladananda Prabhu.
Pranam Mataji. I have a question regarding the 2 Vanar brothers, like Vali and Sugri. Does Valmiki Ramayana say how they were born? I understand they were born of Ahalya by Indra and Surya like that. Is this true? Does it?
Yes.
That's
Not
the story.
Ahalya.
Uh-huh. Who?
Was it Ahalya?
That's what I heard in some. And then Vedvati was also daughter of Gautam and Ahalya. And when they were going to the sea, all of these three children, this Vedvati tells Gautama that these two are not my real brothers. And that's where Gautam says that if they are not their brothers, let them become Vanaras. And they fell into the ocean becoming Vanars. Like this is the story I've heard. So I just wanted to see if they
No,
mention
I
in
don't.
Valmiki.
Yeah,
Mataji,
Valmiki doesn't
Mataji, it's
have.
Ahalya and what? Ahalya and who?
Gautama Rusi.
No, no, Prabhuji. For Vali and Sugriv,
Uh-huh.
Ahalya and who? Who was the father of
See,
Vali?
those two, like Indra came and polluted her earlier, right?
Oh, okay, okay.
Okay, and Sugriv was born of that. And
Oh,
similarly, Surya also had contact with Ahalya, and Vali was
acha.
born. This is what I have heard. I'm not
Oh,
sure, this
this
is
is
not
news to
authentic.
me. I never heard. Thank you, Prabhu.
That's what I have heard. I've heard of Ramayana from so many other sources too. So, I was kind of getting it authenticated if it was in Valmiki Ramayana, because we
It's
accept
not there.
Valmiki. Right? Is
Yeah,
there any
it's not
mention
there.
about that, Mata?
No,
About
no
the
mention.
origin of those two Vanas? No. Okay. Thank you.
The only mention is that this one, Sugriva is the son of the sun, and Vali is the
Uh-huh.
son of Indra. That's all.
Right. Yeah, that's what I've heard. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Ma.
Thank you, Prabhu. Anything else? Yeah, so we'll end here.
Sure.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam. Yes,
Uh,
Prabhupada. Very, very wonderful session, Mataji. And it was so interesting. I was wondering how come like Sugriva is testing the Lord over and over again, and still the Lord is so patient with him. And he also made sure that he accepted that surrender, Sharanagati of Sugriva, and he is ready to offer him protection. Even after, again, after the first fight, Sugriva questions Lord Rama, but even then the Lord, uh, he doesn't say anything, and he uh, agrees to help him once more. It's just wondering, how is it that the mood of Sugriva in friendship is so different from the mood of Arjuna? Like once Arjuna knows that Krishna is the Supreme Lord, he is in the, he falls at his feet. He's in that mood of servitorship to a certain extent. Mm.
but only after he knows that he is the Supreme Lord.
Yeah, so does Sugriva not know by this point? Only Hanuman
Yeah.
knows because Hanuman saw the four-handed form.
Atmanam Manusham Manye Ramam Dasharatatmajam. Ram never revealed himself to be the Supreme Lord. That was not his mood. Krishna would reveal from time to time, but Ramchandra never revealed. Yeah.
Okay, thank
Ramchandra
you.
was like, okay, I am Dasharatha Atmaja, that's all. I'm Dharmatma, yes, everybody looks up to me for virtue and all that. I'm an ideal man, that's it. He didn't show himself to be God except for very pure devotees like Hanuman. And then Shabari could understand. There are some examples, of course, of some devotees who saw him as God. Why go that far? Even later, now, very soon, this lady, Tara, will also say few words about him.
Mandodari also saw.
Mandodari is a very good example. She saw the
Oh,
full form of the Lord. Yeah.
wow, very good.
Yeah. Jatayu could understand. I mean, more than Jatayu could understand, Jatayu was sent back to Godhead by Lord Ramachandra. So, yeah, he was a pure devotee. So, there are some people who could see the Lord. And
Okay. Thank you so much.
eventually,
Mataji.
Sugriva also, he goes back to Godhead, right, with Ram. Eventually. Yeah. But these are all pastimes.
Ever this Sugriva was ever made realize that you disrespected Lakshmana?
Yeah, that's when that's it. He just takes the garland and he bows down. Yeah.
Mata,
So it
I have a
was, see,
question.
it's not a purpose disrespect. It was a taken for granted disrespect. Not that I want to purposely disrespect you, like Dvivida story. That is like purposely disrespecting. This was not having the right protocol. Yeah.
May I ask another matter? One question. I understand that in certain species like Vanaras, it is not an offense or a sin to abduct the wife or brother. I
Okay.
understand that kind of thing which happened between Sugriva and Vali, that he abducted Ruma, the wife of Sugriva, like that. And I also understand that Vibhishan also accept Mandodari later. I have heard, I'm not saying like that. But these kind of things are considered norms in even Vedic culture, Sutopta Vritti. And what is that? Devara and Sutopta. That also we have heard like that, yeah.
We'll
So,
discuss about that.
oh,
So there is a fine line difference between Tara accepting Sugriva and Vali abducting Ruma.
okay.
So there's a
Okay.
difference between the two, and Ram clarifies that also.
Oh, okay. So will it come next session? It's come?
When Ram
Yeah,
gives
okay.
answers, yeah.
Oh, I see. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mata. Very well.
Okay. Nothing is there. We can end up. So next week we'll have the same time. That is 6:30 p.m. EST.
Can't wait for the next week, Mataji. So wonderful. Thank you so much. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, Mataji. You left a cliffhanger, and now we are like
Yeah.
eager.
That's what I like to do.
Thank you so much.
That's Mataji's signature move.
Yeah. Cliffhanger. And Bhakti Vaibhav students can join in 15 minutes. Okay.
So okay, we'll start. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha.
Krapa Sindhu Vicha Patitana Pavane Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namo Ananta Koti Vaishnav Vranda Ki Jai Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. All glories to all the assembled devotees. Next week, hopefully, it's a Monday. Okay. Very good.
Ramayana. Preethi Vilasini Mataji ki jai.
Jai, thank you so much.
Yeah.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.